Okay, so my topic is sunscreen, and I'm going to be arguing why the chemicals in sunscreen are harmful for your skin and health. First, I'm going to talk about how the chemicals in sunscreen go further than the surface of your skin. Then I'll discuss how sunscreen blocks vitamin D production, and lastly, I'll go over some FDA regulations. Before I get to these points, though, I'm going to talk about why I feel so strongly against sunscreen. I work at a tanning salon, and for insurance purposes, I have to be certified. And the owner of my salon actually wanted me to have an even further certification for the D-Angel training. In that training, I learned about sunscreen and the harmful ingredients in it. And so I wanted to do a little more research on it because most people probably don't know about this. And I was a little confused because doctors, dermatologists are always telling you, always lather on sunscreen. So that's why I want to talk about this today. So to my first point, on the surface of skin, harmful chemicals in sunscreen do protect against UV damage, but they go further than the surface and actually absorb into your skin. According to the 2012 sunscreen guide released by the Environmental Working Group, only 25% of 800 tested sunscreens are effective at protecting your skin without the use of harmful ingredients. A couple of these harmful ingredients include Patamate O and Parcel 1789, which have potential to harm DNA when illuminated with sunlight. According to an article written by Kimberly Day, who has spent 15 years uncovering natural and alternative health solutions that have been proven to be effective, sunscreen contains numerous questionable ingredients, 4 of which have been found to contain estrogenic properties when absorbed with the skin, which means that they disrupt hormone production and can negatively affect brain development and reproductive function. One of these harmful ingredients is benzophenone, which is easily absorbed through the skin. Studies by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention show that benzophenones were in the urine of 87% of people that they tested. According to WebMD, benzophenones increase the risk of developing endometriosis in women, which is a painful condition that occurs when the tissue from the inside of the uterus grows outside of the uterus. When this tissue grows in other parts of the body, typically spilling from the abdomen over the ovaries or the fallopian tube, it behaves as if it were still in the uterus, thickening and shedding each month in sync with a woman's menstrual cycle. Endometriosis can lead to scarring and even infertility. The benzophenone that is most notably linked with the risk that female would have endometriosis is benzophenone 1. Benzophenone 1 is a chemical additive that's mostly used in nail polishes, but it also forms when the body breaks down oxybenzone, the major ingredient in sunscreen. The Environmental Working Group recognized about 600 sunscreens in the U.S. that contain oxybenzone, including Hawaiian Tropic, Copper Tone, Banana Boat, and the list just goes on and on. Now on to my second point. Sunscreen blocks vitamin D production. Vitamin D is obtained by sunlight exposure, which sunscreen helps you to avoid. Vitamin D helps improve muscle strength and immune function. It promotes the absorption of calcium from the small intestine, and it upholds blood levels of calcium and phosphate needed for bone formation, mineralization, growth, and repair. You can get vitamin D from supplements. However, according to Dr. McCullough, a New York Times best-selling author, the best way to get the right amount of vitamin D is from the sun. In a segment on Good Morning America with Diane Sawyer and Dr. Oz, it stated that over 100 million Americans are vitamin D deficient. Dr. Oz also states the best way to get vitamin D is from the sun. In an article written by Mike Adams, founder of naturalnews.com, and was named the second most influential person in alternative media in the year 2011, he states that chronic vitamin D deficiency promotes cancer, winter flu, and infections, depression, osteoporosis, and hormonal imbalances. By blocking vitamin D production in the skin, sunscreen products actually contribute to cancer-promoting nutritional deficiencies. And on to my last point, the FDA will not allow natural sunscreen ingredients to be used. I found this information in the same article by Mike Adams. The monopoly over sunscreen chemicals is supposed to protect the profits of chemical companies while minimizing the natural product companies who could easily create better solutions. There are only 2 non-chemical sunscreen ingredients that the FDA approves: zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. Products with any other non-chemical ingredient, if labeled sunscreen, are considered to be improperly labeled by the FDA. So in conclusion, the chemicals in sunscreen are harmful to your skin and health. Sunscreen chemicals go deeper than the surface of your skin. Sunscreen blocks vitamin D, and FDA regulates what sunscreens we should use.
All right, I like the opening of the topic. We know what the subject is, but your proposition makes it sound like it's an informative speech. You're going to tell us how something works or why something works. They need to be declarative sentences, and I was a little concerned with that because in the preview they didn't really sound like claims. Now, in the body of the speech, they did sound a little bit more like claims, and I thought that that was clear, especially the third point, which in the preview is just, in some information about the FDA, and the third point, though, does seem to make an inference and is a lot clearer that there's an argument that's going on there. You have some pretty good assumptions that you explain. I think that you do a nice job trying to build some personal credibility by talking about your history there. There's a lot of factual data, although the sources of some of that factual data are not presented. There was some comparative data. I think you need a little bit more information, especially on that last part about the alternatives being effective. I know that they can't be sold as sunscreen or they're labeled improperly. Is there any demonstration, though, that they would be as effective or would not, they lack the negative ingredients that are going on there, but they would still prevent the problems with UV radiation that the whole purpose of sunscreen is there for. I did like, again, that you tried to quote sources that you then also gave qualifications for, trying to build up the credibility there. I thought that it sounded a little bit like you were rushing during the presentation. You could pace yourself a little bit. I thought you had a very nice summary, so it leaves the argument a lot stronger at the end of the speech. All right, thank you. Emmanuel.